Hi guys, today I want to talk about the dark shower method, a way that I was able to get into SATS, which is the state akin to sleep, do some deep subconscious programming, and then get an instant manifestation. And this is totally different than anything I've ever experienced or even thought was possible. Because if you know my backstory, you know I've had instant manifestations before. I manifested $100,000. I manifested $500,000. There's actually, if you want to see more on that, there's a full video on the 100,000, and I even included like proof of my pay stubs. The 500,000 was through multifamily real estate, and I spent the entire past year traveling in an RV with my family, my two kids, and we saw the entire US and took them out of school, homeschooled. So I basically was living my dreams for the entire past year. And I had a very particular way that I used to manifest. I definitely love to use play. That's why my channel is called Goddess of Play. I typically believe that when you match your inner state, all of your manifestations come to you because you are everything. God is in everything. God is in you. And when you're closest to your true nature, your inner state, which is love, play, all of your manifestations get magnetized to you. That's typically how I've manifested before, and that's just like a very quick summary. We can definitely get more detail on that. That's pretty much all of my other videos will give you visual examples. I love the Manifest Without Believing video that I have. I explain exactly what a state is and how feelings play into it and all of that. But that's how I've manifested before. And in this particular case, I didn't use my usual method. I didn't have positive feelings. I didn't believe, and I wasn't in a playful state. I don't feel like I was being true to my genuine inner nature, my God self. I was not really attached to my God self at that moment, and still I had an instant manifestation. So this is something I really want to share because I know there's times when we struggle to feel good, even though of course that's everyone's goal. So let's get into the story, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what I did. You can recreate it, it's super easy. And it's a way to get into SATS, and hopefully you can have an instant manifestation also. Okay, so here's the story. I'd mentioned that me and my husband and my kids, my two kids, we were traveling in an RV for the whole past year. It was a gorgeous RV, 2 fireplaces, just like pure luxury. And I'm just popping in to say, if you wanted to see my personal life, RV travels, you can follow me on my personal Instagram at Delta Lark, and I'll write it on the screen here so you can follow that. From the whole past year, all the crazy stuff that's happened, my husband, my kids, so you can kind of know, like, I'm not just saying it, it's actually true. If you like the dark shower method that I'm going to talk about in this video, since we're talking about water, leave me some water droplets or wet comments, like wet emojis in the comments. And I'd love to say hi to you. I love saying hi to all my new subscribers. So subscribe, join the channel, Goddess of Play. And my links are on my channel. So if you want to work together one-on-one, that would be amazing also. I love working with you. And back to the video. We just settled in a spot, signed the thing for 3 months, and put the kids in school. And then the next day, I found out I'm pregnant. So I'm pregnant right now. You might not be able to tell from my arms or anything else, but I'm actually 27 weeks pregnant. So I've only got about 11 weeks more to go if I deliver at 38 weeks, which was the same as my other 2 kids. But yeah, so I'm pregnant, and in the fall, I found out I was pregnant. And basically, just like my other 2 pregnancies, I immediately was hit with a really debilitating pregnancy condition called HG. Some of you may have heard of it because I think Kate Middleton, the princess or whatever, she also went through it, so it became a little more public when she went through it. But basically, it's so bad that I couldn't even drink water or eat anything because my body would just throw it up because I had such a sensitivity to the hormones or whatever it was. It's also something that ran in my family. So this is something that's deeply embedded. My mother went through it and other relatives. It was basically like survival. And that kind of put me into a very dark place because I couldn't do anything that I had previously found fun. And I basically would shut the windows of my RV and just lay in bed and try my very best to just get through hour by hour. Still had a few coaching clients, and somehow when I would get into the coaching mindset, I would sort of channel a bunch of energy. And in those sessions, I like removed myself from myself. I felt better. But then after coaching, I would just go right back to being sick. So that was when I started to think, wait a second, you know, how could it be that health is the one thing that isn't touched by manifestation, right? Because like in some weird way, I had this thought of, oh yeah, I've manifested love. I've manifested appearance changes. You know, so many other things. This is my natural hair. This, if you want my actual age, I'm 39, yet people say that they often think I look like, I'm not even joking, like 18 or 19. And yeah, I'm 39 and I just got randomly pregnant. Like, don't they say that it's supposed to become harder as you get older, right? None of that is true. I don't believe in aging. I believe you can manifest, you know, money, love. So then I was asking myself, what is going on with the sickness, right? Because if I've had control over all these other things, then maybe I could do something about the sickness. It's not necessarily something that I have to live with. But this one is just deeper, I think, genetically deeper, passed down through energy, through generations. So it was something that was like deeply in my physical body that was hard to remove. And also I wasn't feeling well enough to remove it. But so basically what happened is this: I was taking a shower, and because I was so nauseous, I would always try to keep the lights dim. So I turn off all the lights, and I had a few just, I don't even think they were real candles. They might have been LED candles, or you could use real candles if you have them, because I think that's even prettier, that were just near the shower. But overall, it was very dark in the room just because I needed the minimal stimulation. I couldn't look at things. I couldn't, you know, even watch TV or see certain sites. Everything was like overstimulating. So I was trying to cut out all my sensory stimulation just to feel better. So lights were lights were off in the shower, and I just had candles. And then I had the warm water flowing over my body. And then that's when I thought to myself, you know what? It doesn't hurt to try manifesting, right? Let me just try. So sarcastically, because I felt pretty sick, I decided to try affirming. And I felt like the world's worst actor because I just did not believe. I felt like it was like maybe one of those Hallmark movies where the acting is just a little off. And I was like, I'm having the easiest pregnancy. I feel so great. I feel great. This is the easiest pregnancy. I'm not nauseous at all. I don't feel nauseous at all. I'm having such an easy time. And I feel like I said it so it was actually almost like sarcastically said, because it was so, I just didn't believe it. I almost like veered between calling this one the bad actor method, because you can almost think of it as that. So like, if you really don't believe the thing that's true, you could say, it would be like, yeah, my specific person really loves me. He's the best guy. He's the most reliable guy. I'm so grateful for all the money I have. It's crazy. It's crazy how huge my bank account is, right? Whatever it is, I'm literally so gorgeous. Everywhere I go, people stop me. And it could be things that you don't believe. It could be, you could say, I have the smallest waist. Oh my God, my waist is so small. No matter what I do, it just stays small. I'm naturally skinny. Almost think of it as saying it sarcastically if you can't believe it. But I was acting it out. I was saying it like, just because affirming has worked for me before at times. It's basically what has worked for me before has been in a really, really high state. I've said my affirmations, and then a few of the times, some huge ones have just come true, like that day within 10 minutes. That for me is the fastest. Like, get into alignment, say your affirmations from there, and boom, I've gotten instant results. But in this particular case, I think what it is the darkness and the warmth of the shower, and then the flickering candlelight, which is like a little bit of visuals, it's almost like the void state. If you think about reality shifting or SATs, like Neville describes, the state that you're in as you're falling asleep. So right before you're fully dreaming, it's almost a little spinny. It's almost like you're losing track of reality. Your current reality is not so stable, is not so present in your mind. And I think this like sensory deprivation part where you're still, and the shower, which is so warm and relaxing, maybe it mimics the womb. Maybe there's some deeper aspect. I don't know exactly why it worked, but the next day I woke up, I opened my eyes, expecting to get hit with that wave of instant nausea, and there was no nausea. I opened my eyes and I didn't feel nauseous. And I was literally in shock because I didn't think that that was possible. I don't know why. I mean, I've had results with every other area, but for me, health has just been a sticky subject since I was a kid. One of my close, like I would almost consider a mother figure because my own mother worked full time. I was raised by my aunt. She was home with me. She died when I was 8 and she was very sick like throughout my childhood. So there's probably some stuff with that where I took in beliefs that sickness is normal, things like that, right? So for me, that's what I've struggled with throughout life. And I'm still working on deprogramming some of that. But everyone has their own thing. It could be money, it could be love, it could be feeling like you're not worthy of having stability or just certain patterns that you've seen in your life, right? And so those are the things that we have resistance, that's what it's called. But I think it's just like deeply ingrained patterns. But to my surprise, even a deeply ingrained pattern like that was able to shift. And can it be recreated? I don't know. Is it my usual method? No, it's definitely not. But it worked. It was easy enough. And I guess worst case scenario, you get a wonderfully relaxing shower out of it, right? Maybe it's the water. Maybe water, some people believe water has memory. Our cells are made out of water. So maybe there's something about the water flowing on you that helps the manifestation appear faster. Maybe it's the fact that when we normally try to get into SATs, which is basically, it's recommended to do it right as you're falling asleep, right? But as you're falling asleep, we often just fall asleep. Like it's hard to catch yourself right before you fall asleep. And remember to do that, and remember to catch yourself. And if you want to follow Neville Goddard's exact way, it would be like you're falling asleep, and you have your pre-made scene in your mind, and you start looping the scene, and you can really picture it. So imagine, like for example, you're hugging your specific person, and he had just asked you to marry him, right? And that's the scene. As you're falling asleep, you're playing that scene. And you feel his arms around you, right? So it'd be like this really sensory, vivid scene. And you just keep playing it and keep playing it and keep playing it until eventually that becomes part of the dream and it becomes more alive and you're in that desired reality. And so that's typically how SATs, the typical concept of SATs is taught, and you can try that. But if you're someone who falls asleep, like I think that that's what happens to me when I try to do it. Also, I often don't even have a good scene for the thing that I want. It's like I can't get into a first person scene, or I'm too resistant to it or something. So this particular case where I was kind of had my hand on my belly like, oh, yeah, I'm having the easiest pregnancy. It's so easy. So easy. I feel so great right now. But I really didn't. But it was like, I felt like I was acting. I did feel like I was like playing a role. And maybe there's a part of me that also thought, well, in the last 2 pregnancies, I did start feeling better around 15, 16 weeks. And then about 20 weeks, I felt much better. So there's a part of me that knew that, well, I don't feel good now, but eventually I will. So maybe there was that. Maybe there's that. So it wasn't like a complete shift into a brand new, complete disbelief thing. It was a little bit like, one day I know I'll have it, right? So maybe if you can add that in, where you're like, I don't have it now, but if you can kind of link to that future. And so you imagine yourself linked up to that future reality, that future you, and say the words from there. So that's the thing where you're not saying your affirmations from here. You're trying to say them from there. So when you're like, I don't believe it. Yeah, you don't believe it here. What is the you that's saying it from there? What is she saying? What is he saying? So that's where you get that script. And then you can say it as a bad actor, because I know it's not going to be easy to say it as a good actor, right? Unless you're a good actor. But you can say it and act it out as well as you can in your mind and in your thoughts. Let's go to that other reality sometime in your future that you know you're going to get, and speak it from there. I love having so much money. My life is full of money and freedom. You could even say some of my stuff, like, I don't believe in aging, right? Whatever it is, you pull it from that reality, and you can say it in a way that you don't fully believe, because it didn't seem to affect things for me. I definitely didn't believe it. And I said it sarcastically because I was like, oh, great. Yeah, let me manifest now when I feel terrible, right? Okay, let me try. I feel so great. I feel so great. I'm having an easy time. It's so easy. And then I just enjoyed the shower, but I feel like it was almost like a real life void state, a real life sensory void state, because all I feel is the warmth and the darkness. And from there I can enter any reality. So I hope you're able to try the dark shower method. At the very least, I hope you get a nice relaxing shower out of it. But I really think it'll work. I mean, if it can work for health, it can work for things that you truly think are genetic, unfixable, unchangeable. There's some things that, like in my mind, like, okay, maybe you can change your job, but your health, like that's part of you, right? So we all have these little things where we're like, oh, that can't be changed. But here, this is something that, like, health, something I thought was so fixed and set in stone, even that was able to change. And I've seen stories where people have, someone specific person hadn't talked to them for 10 years, and then 10 years later, the story can shift like nothing. There is only the now, and things can shift. If you can shift it now, then it can shift now. So the past doesn't matter, the history doesn't matter, the family history doesn't matter, the genetics don't matter. If you can shift it now, then you can have it now. So I hope you subscribe. I hope you check out some of the other videos. You can sign up for me with one-on-ones. I'd love to help you. I'd love to work with you one-on-one. We can make a big shift together, and I can't wait to work with you. Check out my links, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.